In the world of AI, video marketing, and so many other forms of marketing, written content is still the king. How do I know? Well, try to remove all of the pages from your website and see what happens to your business. That's right, it's going to come crashing down. You have to have a website with authoritative level of content where you answer every conceivable question that the prospective client may want to ask you. But how do you do it right at scale? Tune into this podcast episode with David Arato, who founded Lexicon Legal Content, and he will share that formula with you. Hi there. I have a small but really meaningful favor to ask you. I watch at the stats on our YouTube channel and Spotify channel, wherever most people listen and watch our podcast, and I see that over 80% of everybody who listens to it regularly is not a subscriber. I'm asking you to subscribe to this channel. And the reason for that is my mission and the mission of my team is to help as many small law firm owners to learn how to transform their law firms into better businesses, and so they in turn enjoy better lives. When you hit subscribe button, you tell these platforms that this is content worth listening, worth viewing, and they in turn will show it to many other small law firm owners, and hopefully help me fulfill our mission of helping them create a better business and enjoy better lives. So would you please do me this favor? It would mean the world to me, and hit the subscribe button. And my promise to you is that I will continue to work hard at creating good content with practical ideas that help you and your teams grow better law firms. Thank you. Welcome to the GLF podcast. I have a great guest with me here today. David Dorado is a classically trained cellist who went to a law firm and then decided, instead of practicing law, to become a content creator and build this company called Lexicon Legal Content that works for law firms, creating legal content and helping them get more clients through this amazing content. David, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, Sasha. Thanks for having me.
It's a fascinating journey. How did you start in the world of music, and what brought you into the legal world after that?
Wow, starting in music. I mean, we're going back, I don't even want to say how many years, but my father asked me when I was 5 years old if I wanted to play the cello, and I said yes. So that's how that started.
Was your dad a musician?
He enjoyed music quite a bit and had some training in, but he never did it professionally.
Got it. Why did he ask you that question?
I have no idea. I mean, we'd have to go back, and unfortunately, we can't ask him anymore. But yeah, that's what happened there.
Okay.
It became a lifelong pursuit until, yeah. I mean, I guess it still is.
So you still play?
I still play. I still teach. I still play in the community when I can.
That's amazing. Okay. So you played, and you actually played with orchestra for some time, and then you decided to go to law school.
I did. Yeah, that was exactly the path.
Why'd you decide to go to law school?
I felt a little unsatisfied with just music. I hate to say just music because I think musicians are doing great work and it's exciting and performing is wonderful. There's part of my brain that I felt was not engaged by the life of a working musician. And I've always been interested in law school, and I had the opportunity to go, and I did so.
Okay. And so there you go to law school, and once you get out of law school, you decide to actually start this business. How did that come about?
Well, when I was studying for the bar, I started doing content writing on the side for extra money. And I quickly realized that it was a very good fit, and also quickly realized there was a huge market for it. I mean, this is back in 2010, and there was no consolidation in the market at all. And I realized that agencies were having a ton of trouble sourcing quality, accurate, compliant content, and realized that there was a nationwide market for this, and decided to start Lexicon.
So obviously, there's not an attorney, there's not a the law firm owner who doesn't think that content is important today. 15 years ago, there was probably some convincing to be done. Today, there could be convincing between like, should we write this in-house or actually outsource it? And there's always a great justification for outsourcing as long as whoever you outsource it to is good. But I'm curious. So we're recording this in April of 2025. I have no idea when you're watching this or when you're listening to this. This could be 5 years from now and the world has changed again. But 2025, the big thing is AI. Today, you could plug any idea into ChatGPT or another platform like ChatGPT, and it's just going to spit out what looks like quite beautiful content.
That's right.
And it can do so at volume.
Absolutely.
Why does your business exist?
If everyone's using AI and using the same prompts to get the same kind of content, there's still only one top spot in Google.
Correct.
There's still only one. So SEO still matters. It still matters to get yourself in front of the potential client you're trying to
Yes.
reach. If everyone's using the same tools and then not adding value, whether that's personal personal information or personal anecdotes or local information in your content. I'm thinking specifically regarding law firm content and getting it to rank. Um, it's all going to be generic and none of it is going to rank well. The ones that rank well are going to be the ones with human input. When I say ones, I mean pieces of content. Content with human input is going to rank better than content that's AI. And I think that the algorithms are getting better at spotting AI content. Excuse me. Um, in this recent update, Google specifically called out mass produced high volume content that isn't adding anything to the conversation. And that's all these tools today can do because they are fundamentally regurgitating information they've read or consumed in the past.
Yeah, that's an
It's
excellent
another
point.
tool. It's a tool in our toolbox.
Yeah.
AI helps us at Lexicon create content faster and better than we used to. But if you can't go to ChatGPT, say, "We give me 1,000 words on what to do after a car accident," and expect that piece of content to rank well.
Yeah, we know that's not going to happen. It's quite interesting. I always think of AI, and I've been using ChatGPT for a little over a year now. It's a really cool tool, but when you think about the concept of AI, it's a thief. It went online and it stole everything.
That's right.
And now it regurgitates it and puts it out the best way that it can. And it's so good at putting things out. But technically, it's the same thing that it puts out time and time and again. No matter how you ask the question, it still is the same thing. It's the best damn answer that it can provide, but it is the same thing. And
And
if
it's a great
everybody
starting
uses it,
point.
it's a great starting point. I find it very interesting. Like I've heard of experiments where people would build websites and they would go to ChatGPT and they're like, write me 100 articles. Here's the list of topics, write me 100 articles. They would throw it on the website, and of course it won't rank. It
That's
can't.
right.
There's no human factor. There are no stories, right? There's no personalization. And even if you try to do that personalization in ChatGPT, at least as of the time that we're recording this, again, if you're watching this in 2030, the world may look very different. But today,
That's right.
it, ChatGPT just cannot accomplish it, not at scale for sure.
I
Um,
think that Google's been very clear in its guidance that it wants to see, especially in any field that deals with your money or your life, law being one of them, it really wants your content to demonstrate EEAT is the acronym they use, which is experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And again, I think that ChatGPT or Claude or whichever tool you choose to use is going to create a great starting point for content about legal topics that consumers are interested in. But ultimately, if you're going to demonstrate those four factors to get your content to rank, you've got to get a human in there because you've got to demonstrate the experience of the firm specifically or the attorney specifically. You're demonstrating the experience, the expertise. The authority comes from linking to external sites, attracting backlinks, using social proof, attorney awards, case results, and finally trust being the most important factor. You've got to make sure it's accurate, and we all know that AI hallucinates when it doesn't know something.
Definitely. Interestingly, so when we first started using AI for just searching things up, and I love AI for what it's good for. And it's good for a lot of things, but it's not good for everything. One of my first responses or thoughts on that was, it is so good, this can put us out of business. Now that we've had over a year to experiment with it, we understood that it's actually going to continually grow our business because despite of how easy it is to use, most people, when it comes to important things like finding a lawyer, will not use it. And those who will use it, and this is what we've arrived at through hundreds, probably thousands of experiments by now, that the way AI sources information and posts that information, if you're actually looking on the screen and you want to see sources, it's basically if you do SEO well, it's going to rank your answers and produce content that's based on your content. It's called generative engine optimization. Generate that content based on whoever
Absolutely.
ranks very well in Google. And to rank very well in Google, you have to have that expertise. You have to have that authority. And to have that, you have to have authoritative content and be viewed by Google as an authority in the space. So for that, you have to have that unique content that's actually personalized to your law firm, to your experience, using your examples, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
That's
it
right.
is a full cycle, and you go back to the beginning, you're like, I can't do it with ChatGPT. If I do,
No,
I will get penalized. Instead of getting rewarded, I will get penalized.
that's right. And I think that the rise of AI content has actually created a much more competitive content landscape. I see this in the testing we're doing internally with our own content on our own website. We recently got ourselves into the AI reviews for, I'm sorry, the AI overview for white label legal content. Obviously, for us, a
Congratulations.
very, very
Yeah.
important term. Um, we got that in there with some good old fashioned handwritten content that we then used AI to optimize. We were in the AI overview for about a week, and then a competitor got in there. So what are we doing? We're redoing our. So what I'm saying, the fact that AI is creating so much content so quickly and helps us create content faster, everyone's pumping out more content. Now, whether it's pure AI or human assisted AI or human written content that use AI to optimize, more content is going onto the internet writ large. So there's more competition. In other words, I think there's going to be more volatility in search rankings or the SERPs changing. And then there's going to be, it is easier, and the barrier to competition for high volume search terms is now lower. So I think there's going to be higher level of content. Who's creating the best content to get ranked the highest? As long as consumers are going to Google, there's still going to be a race to number one.
Let's imagine that you and I were not in the marketing business. We're not in content production business. We own a law firm. And we'll listen to this episode and we're one day like, well, why does this matter to me? Can you answer that? Why is this important
Sure.
to us?
If you want to be a competitive law firm in 2025, competitive in your marketplace, you need to be visible online. And visibility online, a big part of that is having high quality content that your potential clients want to read and starts to solve their problem.
Yeah, perfect. I also foresee that Gemini, which is Google's AI, is going to, at some point, not in the distant future, is going to take a leading position in the AI space. And the reason for that is it's native to more than half of mobile devices.
Sure.
Google will not go in the second position to ChatGPT. It's just a matter of time until they take over. And Google does work in cooperation with Apple, and Apple is working on its own AI. So far, it's been somewhat of a failure. There's Apple Intelligence that is by far lagging behind both ChatGPT and Gemini. And because Gemini is native to Google's Android, and Google's Android or Google itself is search everywhere, video, text, voice, all of those things. Wherever you search, probability that you will be searching using something that's Google is incredibly high.
I
So
agree.
if you rank well in Google, and to rank well in Google, big part of that success formula is having the right type of content that does have that, project that authority, project that experience and expertise. If you're going to rank well, your law firm is going to do well. And back in the day, most law firms rose and died by referrals. Today, fewer people rely on referrals. Yes, there's still a very substantial percentage of people who rely on referrals when it comes to finding law firms. But with every passing, it used to be decade, now every year, maybe even quarter, more and more people. Well, truth of the matter is like a lot of 30-year-olds don't want to talk to other people.
No, that's right.
They will not
I
pick up the
recently
phone
saw.
to call somebody to ask for a referral. They will not even text you.
That's right.
They'll just be
Um,
like, lawyer near me, car,
lawyer.
lawyer,
Yep.
car accident, something. Much
Yep.
faster to look at, hey, this guy has 120 reviews, mostly positive.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
Clio recently put out some data, I think last year, saying that 30% of searches on the internet for legal services start online. I'm sorry, 30% of all searches for legal services start online rather than going to friends or family or looking for referrals in your personal social network. Um, that strikes me as extraordinarily low, but that's their data.
So in 2019, they put out their annual reports. In 2019, they
Yeah,
indicated that in total, 79% of all people who hired a lawyer did both, searched online
interesting.
and asked for a referral.
That sounds right.
I know we have our own data. I'm looking at overwhelming majority of people when they need an attorney. When you look at just percentages, right? Like in many counties and in some states, you can see data on, for example, DUIs. And then you can see how many attorneys there are and how many cases they had, or bankruptcies.
That's right.
You could tell that a very high percentage of people are searching online. Very high percentage of people. How do you know? Google puts out search volume data on the back end through what's called Google Keyword Planner. You could see how many searches there are for any keyword in any geographical market on any given month. So you just know that overwhelming majority of consumers, when they need an attorney, they're going to go online, either at the very beginning, somewhere in the middle of their search, or toward the end, but they will end up online looking. And if you have great content on your website, there's a very high probability that they're going to come to you. It's just such a big part of the formula.
And to add to what you're saying, with the different stages in their search, you need content for every stage of that funnel. Whether it's the top of the funnel and they're looking for information about a legal issue, or at the bottom of the funnel and who's the best car accident attorney near me. You need content for every stage of that funnel to capture as many of those leads as possible.
You have to expand on that because I think most of the people are not familiar with the terminology like top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. So imagine that I'm a law firm owner and I have no idea what you mean by this.
Absolutely. So, top of the funnel searches are typically, so we're talking about a marketing funnel, first of all, of getting potential clients to pick up the phone and engage your law firm. So at the top of the funnel, people are often just looking for information. Let's say they've been involved in a car accident and they don't even know where to start. Can I sue after a car accident? What kind of compensation can I recover? These informational searches often will land them on law firm websites, which, of course, as a law firm is good for them. But you need to create content that isn't about converting them necessarily in that moment to a client, but content that will be responsive to an informational search regarding a car accident and what I need to do or what I can do, or just general information about the legal landscape of negligence in your state. Moving them then into the bottom of the funnel where they are going to be looking for a specific attorney to help them solve their problem. So those searches are going to be more transactional or more commercial in intent. Things like, who's the best car accident lawyer near me? Or what do I need to find in a car? How do I choose a car accident attorney in my state or my city or my county? So content that speaks to potential client needs at every stage in that journey of awareness of a legal problem. I've been hit by a car, I've been in a car accident rather, and I need legal help. To, okay, I'm pretty sure I've got a claim. I got to retain someone because if I don't, the insurance company is going to screw me over.
Yeah, most people don't think about funnels, right?
Sure.
But we could imagine. I like to think that everything that happens online could be thought of as something that happens in real life. And in
Okay.
real life, it would be imagine that somebody meets you and you're an attorney, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I was in an accident a couple of weeks ago." You're like, "Oh, tell me more." And once they start telling you, you know what to tell them, right? And there is a natural progression in your monologue once you start talking to them, right? You start here, and then you go a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper. And if you have an hour to talk to them, and you're an expert in this field, you will tell them just about everything that they need to know in that hour, 45 minutes, an hour, hour 15. but it will be a progression from the top of the funnel, the broadest thing, down to, hey, by the way, if I were you, here's how I would go about choosing the right attorney.
Absolutely.
So makes sense. Having a website that has answers to all of those questions is paramount importance. Let me tell you a quick story. I love this story. This happened to me, or I heard this story firsthand in 2014 when I was at a conference in Boston. The conference name is Inbound by HubSpot. Next to me sat a gentleman named Bob. Bob and I struck a conversation. And Bob asked me what it is that I was doing at the conference and what I did for a living, et cetera, et cetera. And then in return, I asked him what it is that he is doing at the conference. And he said, I'm looking for the next big idea. And I asked him, Bob, what was the last big idea? And he said, well, let me tell you. Years before that, I got into the sleep study business, meaning had sleep clinics. If you suffer from insomnia or any sleep disorder, you would go there on doctor's prescription or without doctor's prescription and order a study. They will observe you, attach a bunch of electrodes to your head, measure different things, and tell you, hey, here's what we're seeing. This is probably why you're having this sleep disorder. So he's like, I started one, then I opened another one. He ended up having 4 clinics in the state of Alaska. Not a lot of population, but he was very successful. One day, and I think the year was like 2006, 2007, somewhere thereabout. And this conversation was taking place in 2014. He told me I had 4 phone reps that would answer phones all day long. People would call with questions. One of them approached me and said, Bob, we get dozens of phone calls every day. People are asking us the same stupid questions. You have a website. Why don't we add an FAQ section? In that FAQ section, we could just answer those questions. And when they call us, we'll just send them to the website. Bob told me, I thought to myself, it's a really stupid idea to send a caller to the website. But it's interesting. If so many people are asking the same questions in real life, maybe some of them are asking those same questions online. So I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take legal notepads, put them next to each one of your phones. And for the next 2 weeks, you're going to jot down every question that you hear. And then we're going to see about the FAQ section. So they do this for 2 weeks and they see that they still get some unique questions. So they end up running this experiment for 3 weeks. At the end of 3 weeks, all unique questions were exhausted and they end up with a list of 113 unique questions. So Bob says, guys, it's ridiculous. We're not going to have an FAQ section with 113 questions and answers. What we're going to do is for every question, we're going to add a page on the website. And we're going to provide an answer there. And by the way, you're the ones who are going to write those answers. And like, no way, we're not writing this stuff. And he's like, you are, but just write it like how you'd speak it. I'll hire an editor. They're going to polish it and we're going to publish it there. So what they end up doing is at the time, those people were called webmasters. They would get question as the headline, answer as the body. They would send it to the webmaster. Webmaster would add a page. No pictures, nothing. They just kept on adding pages to that website. 113 pages with Q&A on them were added to that website. Within some short period of time, the webmaster tells Bob, listen, I'm noticing you get a lot more traffic than you used to. And Bob is like, cool, but so what? And he's like, I don't know, so what? I just get a lot more traffic. And then sometime Bob noticed that his income actually started going up. More people were coming to the website locally, calling them, scheduling sleep studies, etc., etc. And then finally, about a year and a half, before he and I met at the conference, he said, I got a phone call from my mainland competitor, and they said, Bob, we want to buy you out.
Yeah.
He's like, you want to buy my clinics? And they're like, no, we don't want to operate clinics in Anchorage, Alaska, or wherever he was. We want to buy your website. That's right. And he sold that effing website for $17 million. Wow. In 2012. Wow.
And this is why you create content.
This is why you create content.
That's right.
Because there's $17 million. And if you adjust it for inflation today, it's probably $34 million.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that FAQ content is invaluable because that's what human beings are searching for. That's exactly what the exact match search.
Yeah, but it wasn't FAQ so much. I mean, yes, it was FAQ, but it actually answered every question in every stage of the funnel because they created an exhaustive list of questions. 130, like imagine you practice estate planning law or you do criminal defense, anything. There are only so many questions that your prospective and existing clients are going to ask you. If you were to think about it, if you were sitting there with a legal notepad and you recorded every silly question, every great question that they ever asked you, you too are going to have a list of 100 questions, give or take. Right. You answer every single one of them. Google will reward you with traffic And that traffic will reward you in more cases.
Absolutely. Whenever we have clients who ask us, what are we even going to write about? How much content can you create? Just think back to your conversation with your clients.
Mhm.
If you've been practicing law for 5, 10 years, you've heard all you haven't heard all the questions, but you've heard most of the questions that you're going to get. Write those down, as you said, and start creating content about them, because
Yeah,
that's what your clients want to know. You're absolutely right.
yeah. But then there is a follow-up question, and I hear this one from time to time from new clients, and they're like, it's all been written about before. Nothing's unique out there. Well, why would this get us clients?
Sure. I mean, the answer is to some extent do it better, do it do it with more EEAT, demonstrating more depth, more expertise. I think another thing is to get your content to rank about a topic that's been written about, you know, a million times. I think that it's about keeping it fresh. And Google looks for this. Google looks like, are you citing crash data from your state's Department of Transportation from 2019 and it's 2025?
Yep.
You can update your content with that little tiny bit. Or what Google loves to see is creating new data. So, and that can be as simple as taking one piece of data and another piece of data and adding them together and saying between these two states or these two counties, we had this many accidents. Or I'm just using car accidents as an example here. Um, so things in the world are constantly happening. There's constantly news. There's constantly relevant events in your practice area, and you can use those to create content about. And to your point, car accidents are car accidents. They've been car accidents since cars were invented, right? And the issues remain the same, but the specifics change. Was there a self-driving car involved? Was there auto braking technology involved? What does that mean for liability? Is there a liability in the manufacturer? We can dig deep into these issues while still talking about car accidents generally to collect those consumers who are looking for that legal service while adding more to the conversation and adding new data and new information.
So true. And it's a big element of it, but there is the other side to it. And that is when you look at any industry, and that includes law firms, 70 to 80% of your competitors couldn't be bothered thinking about how they can do better with their business.
Sure.
They're complacent. So they're not really focused on marketing. They're not investing in content. They're not investing in SEO. They're not investing in advertising. The remaining 10, 15, 20, 25% are focused, but are they always producing content on the same subjects? Are they your direct competitors in your hyper-local market? Because here's another truth. Most of your prospective clients are going to come from within 5, 7, maybe 10-mile radius around your office. So if you're publishing content and the nearest competitor who publishes similar content is 20 miles away from you, you both are going to do fine. It has
Yep.
literally, Google has gotten so good at
Yep.
producing hyper localized results because they know that somebody who is looking for information related to car accident or estate planning
Yep.
or
Yep.
DUI or anything else, chances are the links that Google is going to serve you, the search results that it's going to output are going to be from a local attorney or local
Yep.
attorneys.
Yep.
Might as well be you.
Yep. That's right.
Hmm. Cool. Um, Somebody's listening to this. And by the way, it happens sometimes. And I know even in our practice, it happens sometimes where a client says, no, 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 I want my own team writing content for us. Although we have a lot of writers on our team, like our employees. If somebody is listening to this and they're like, I have a marketing company, I just don't love their writing, I want to reach out to David and see if this is better, how would they connect with you?
www.lexiconlegalcontent.com is our website.
Yep.
I'm really easy to get. David at lexiconlegalcontent.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, this LinkedIn / David Arato. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere.
Awesome. David, thanks so much for sharing the insights.
My pleasure, Sasha. This was great.